Hi, everyone, and good morning. First of all, thank you so much for these words. I think this is all gathering together is all part of working to amplify this voice and recognize those heinous crimes. And I want to thank you for organizing this and for keeping the discussion over these issues, and of course about the hostages, that it's our first moral obligation to get them out of there. And so I'll start with that. I'll say I teach international law, human rights, gender theory, and climate justice at Hebrew University and Reichman University. This was my life before the 7th of October. I led a lot of women's rights issues. I drafted Israel's national report on women during emergencies, when we never imagined an emergency like that. And I had an institute on gender and sustainability, the Dvora Institute, really about our dreams of the future. And since the 7th of October, my life has completely changed, like all of us. But I've been given another role as the chair of the Civil Commission on October 7th crimes by Hamas against women and children, a role I've never asked for myself. Leading the investigation and the inquiry and the documentation mission on these crimes in light of unprecedented denial, international denial of these issues, despite the fact that Hamas has been documenting these crimes immediately, coming with a mission to really terrorize us for generations to come. And despite all this documentation, we found ourselves after the 7th of October fighting a second battle, a battle for recognition, and I want to against denial, and really against dehumanizations that we've experienced as Israeli women. So I want to start just briefly giving you all the events that we've experienced since and where it all began. So I was actually asked, why have we done this? And if the UN would have reacted properly, would the commission have been established? And I don't think it would have been established. What happened was just, I'll say that on the 7th of October, I was with my father at the hospital. He was hospitalized at Sheba Hospital, and as all of us, we started getting information about what's going on, reports about the very difficult crimes. People were being burnt in their houses, taken as hostages. Reports of children already in the early morning saying that their parents were murdered and that they are hiding in the closet. I won't mention everything, the burnings. I'll just say that as an international law scholar, I knew we are witnessing crimes against humanity before our eyes. I knew that this is going to be internationally tried. And to be honest, I never thought there is going to be an issue within the international community. I thought we are seeing something, of course, not another circle of the conflict, but the magnitude of the events. It was as if hell has opened upon us, as was said previously. And in the first days of the war, I was working with government agencies on the emergency response to what happened. And slowly I understood that the human rights bodies that we've been working with for years and years are not responding. And I want to say something about that. What does it mean to respond? So first of all, initially report, just to report what happened. Secondly, it's their obligation. Secondly, to condemn, express perhaps solidarity with the victims, solidarity with the countries that was affected by this difficult attack. And the third thing UN bodies do is just to offer help, really offer help. This is their job. This is their universal mandate to protect human rights, to offer help in humanitarian crises. And we've been puzzled, international scholars, like what is going on? Why aren't they responding? And so I very naively thought that once I'll gather this group of experts and we'll send them the most credible information we had at the time, perhaps they'll respond. And I think I was very naive. I'll say very briefly that we sent them 3 petitions. One was joined by thousands of women. The second one was joined by many organizations. And the third one was a legal report signed by more than 180 international law professors and about the crimes committed against women and children. And in order to write this report, I have to share that I felt like I need to bear witness myself, to see with my own eyes. I usually say that I knew too much too soon. I knew too much too soon. I already started creating this file, a small database. I went through Telegram groups to see everything. As a legal scholar, I felt like I need to see this. I can't have others do it, and I can't have others sign the report without me seeing this. And I want to say that the UN does not get reports from 180 international law professors and human rights experts. It usually gets reports from small organizations. And what happened was shocking. I sent this report to really every UN agency you would imagine, personally, both formally and informally. And as days went by, we were deeply surprised that we didn't even get a thank you note, not even a small note. That the email was not saying, please find attached the report. The email, I asked them for help. Can you help us? This is what we know. Please help us. Please respond to what we're seeing here. And we got no response. And at that moment, I gathered a group and I said at the meeting that week that in light of the silence, it was already in the beginning, in light of the fact that they're not even responding, days went by and I was refreshing my email account, and all of us really, I said, we have a different mission. Our mission is not only to communicate with the international bodies. Our mission is really historical, to document every piece of information regarding what happened to women and children. I was already getting a lot of information, a lot of reports, sometimes in the middle of the night. I was invited to speak in the name of the women's movement in Israel before 5 members of the CEDAW committee. CEDAW committee is the most important international committee on women's rights. It's not like the UN Women. The UN Women is more political in a sense. This is the expert body. And one day before my speech at the UN, the CEDAW committee, the members of the committee, each of them got the report. They released a statement, unfortunately not mentioning the 7th of October, not even mentioning the hostage taking. And the hostage taking is a crime against humanity, an ongoing crime against humanity. I have to tell you, it was devastating. Again, as I said, I understood that we are fighting another battle. These are the women who are supposed to protect us, the professors, the experts who are supposed to stand by our side. And I spoke to the UN a day after, and I told them, it was a Zoom meeting. I told them, is there international law for Israeli women? Are we going to be protected? What you're doing is that you're undermining the international legal system. You're undermining the achievements of the women's movement. You're undermining the achievement of the entire human rights movement. When we established this system, to say this is what I teach. I teach international law and human rights. I believe in this system that was created from the ashes of the Holocaust. It is a system that was created from the ashes of World War II. And I told them that their silence is even worse when it comes to women, because we're seeing the same denial mechanism inflicted on women on an individual level, right? In rape cases, for instance, or sexual abuse victims. We're seeing the same denial mechanisms now being inflicted on us collectively by the same bodies who are supposed to protect us. And I asked them, are we even human? Because in this silence, they are dehumanizing us. I can say that I know that they have a role in fueling denial campaigns around the world. They have fueled hatred campaigns, anti-Semitic campaigns. They are not just betraying us, they are betraying humanity. And they're not just keeping silent, because they are becoming active in endangering us, in demonizing us as Israelis, and dehumanizing us as women. And since then, my work is centered in really establishing this inquiry commission, establishing this documentation effort, advocating to get the hostages back, advocating for recognition. I'm meeting with leaders around the world. I think the most complicated mission is to establish this archive. Everything that we do is being doubted. How do you know these images are not AI manipulated? These videos are not AI manipulated. And these are live, many of those are live videos documented by Hamas. And I'm glad to say that we are partnering with the best Israeli tech companies helping us now. But anyway, we are going also to collect testimonies and to make sure justice is done. And I want to say, people ask me what is justice. So it's difficult. It's a difficult question in light of the really cruelest crimes that we've seen here in Israel. But justice begins with recognitions, with compensations to the families. If there is even an ability to compensate them on what happened and to compensate the survivors. I think it's our responsibility as humanity to reveal those crimes and the kinds of crimes that Hamas has conducted here that really put all of us at risk. So thank you so much for bringing forward this conversation. I do want to say that I want to acknowledge the work of the women around me that are really exposed, all of us, to the most difficult crimes from the beginning of the war. This has been the most difficult part. We are watching this, we are bearing witness, and we are doing everything we can to be able to give voice to those who remain voiceless. So thank you.
Thank you, Cochav. We have some questions. As we said, we'll give time for 3 questions. The first question is, what do you think is important for us, saying the Jewish communities around the world, to do in our communities?
Can you repeat the question? What do we do? What can we do?
Important for us to do in our communities in order to help in the recognition.
First of all, I feel like I want to say that I have a WhatsApp group. I'll send it to you later, in which I sometimes ask for help. Sometimes it's just a connection. For instance, in a few weeks ago, I said, does someone know anyone from the Spielberg Foundation? And many answered and many helped. Sometimes we need to reach a certain senator. Sometimes it's just a small thing. We're also fundraising, because this is really going to take years. None of the statements, even though we've made a huge impact around the world, and we're working with allies outside the UN now more than within the UN, the documentation part is really a historical mission. It's Yad Vashem. So fundraising, I want to say this is one of the things that I'm dedicating my time to, aside from the documentation. And this WhatsApp group is also helping me amplify my voice. Sometimes it's just sharing the information. And I feel like sharing this, making those voices heard, making our advocacy work matter, is, for me, it's a lot, because the leaders of the world whom I would meet with, needs to see this support, needs to get, for instance, last week I met with the Foreign Minister of Australia. She released a statement right after the meeting, and I sent it to the group and everybody were sharing. I think it's important for them to get this support, and for us it's a legal achievement in our path for recognition, as I said. So thank you for asking this. And when I come to the United States, I'd love to meet.
Okay. The second question is, what can you tell us what evidence is there already?
So as I said, there are videos, there are images, testimonies, images coming from many sources, reports. I've asked very early after the war began, for my staff to create this form that is called, in Hebrew it says shviv meida, a piece of information. Sometimes this is all I get. Cochav, have you heard about this and that in that kibbutz? Have you heard about this girl in that place? And I'm not an investigation body in the sense like the police or a prosecution. I feel like I have a historic mission to really preserve these small pieces of information. So these reports, we conduct meetings with the officials. Every meeting sheds lights to the kinds of crimes. Many of what we've seen at the beginning, that we've received information from Hamas videos itself and the images they have released, then from first responders, then we received information from morgue staff, from survivors, and we've been helping the efforts. For instance, the New York Times article, who incredibly revealed many of the crimes. We've been working with the team since the beginning of the war. They have been here from October 8th, working on this. So we've been doing everything that we can to help such efforts, and they have also interviewed so many. And in the future, we're also going to make interviews ourselves that are more collect testimonies, not interviews. Interviews we've been doing, collect testimonies in the most professional way possible.
From your experience, which organization in our communities should be connected? Do you have any advice, from your, from what you did until now? In each community, which organization we should connect?
I'm not sure I know how to answer this. In each community, which organization to connect?
Do you have any advice for organization that we should connect in order to work on this recognition?
So I visited the United States and I met many communities and Jewish human rights organizations, really devastated from the fact that they have lost their allies. They have lost connection with those coalitions that they have been in touch with. And my advice to them was to realign as Jewish organizations, to connect and create new partnerships among ourselves. I know it sounds like I'm suggesting to close ourselves, but that's not the point. Once we become stronger, I feel like others will join. And I feel like the Jewish community around the world has been dedicated to human rights and to Tikkun Olam in ways that can't be ignored. And now we need to be stronger together. I don't know if it makes sense, but this is, I strongly believe it.